The county employee handbook to offer a 2-week severance pay for terminated employees, and it's going to be retroactive back to August the 1st.
And so we'll need a formal motion for that modification.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of modifying the employee's handbook?
Aye.
Aye. Dave, I believe we're ready for you. I'm sorry we're 10 minutes late.
That's right.
Good morning. This is about the Airport Commission meeting that we had on August the 13th. I've got copies of minutes for you.
Can I get one more from you, Dave?
Yes. And what this is basically is just to kind of inform you what the meeting was about and what took place. And so there was two things, and one was to put the credit card machine in for aircraft to be able to fuel after hours and on weekends when Grace Flying Services closed. So that was voted on and passed. And then the other item is to put utilities to a central location for the new hangar area, and that was voted on and passed. So now to get that the utilities up there, we're wanting to get the utilities in first before we get ask Dave to put a road in so that we can access the new hangar area. So that has got to go basically over the top of the road. I mean, the road's got to go over the top of the utilities. Yeah.
So where's this road going to be?
It'll be right on the, at this point in time, we're going to go up Lorraine Street, which is the village street, behind the village to the east, all the way to the fence, and then it would be the Equities, property there, the fence. It would be just the airport's property to the west of the fence, and then straight on to the south into that new airport hangar area. The idea we would like to do at some point in time is come right off of the highway and have an easement across Judy's property, and then that would take it straight into the hangar area from the highway. But at this point in time, so that we can get the ball rolling and get the hangars built and get the aircraft in there and get it used. So.
They're going to take a lot of dirt work. Seems like that's low through there.
Well, we got to wait till we get all the right-of-way description, what all we have to do.
Okay, so
Suppose it'll take a little, yeah.
you've got a grant for $34,200 that the county is responsible for 10% of that?
Yes. And that's through the capital improvement fund, and the funds are there in the capital improvement fund. So there's the fuel pump. We've already got the fuel pump here. It's not the pump, it's the card reader, and then it has to be installed. That was less than what we expected. It was like 15.1 or something like that.
So your $34,200 is going to cover the cost to get your utilities up there?
Utilities, yes, to a central location, according to our estimates that we have.
We're familiar with that estimate.
And the surveyor was in there last week, and I think he's going to be finishing things up pretty quick on that, but he's pretty well marked the boundaries of everything and getting ready to do the topo map, stuff like that.
Which is important because our the one hangar builder needs a legal description so that he can, you can't get a loan or anything else till you get a legal description, and then buy your building and get it put up. So it's real important that we get our lease for the property, for the hangar, to get that written up as soon as possible. And then the other thing is with the survey is to bring the water with an easement or whatever we need to do to get it across Judy's from the highway. It's because it's got to come along the highway behind the vet clinic and then up to the airport property and then to the central location. So there's some work there to be done yet too.
So what utilities are we bringing in?
Pardon me?
Electricity mainly?
Okay, the water would come from water, electricity, and gas. The city has discussed at the last meeting that they will furnish the transformer and the wire and everything to get electricity to the central location at their expense. Then the water would be with the State of Kansas grant, which is 90/10, and also the gas would also be with the Kansas grant.
So basically, our commitment's only going to be about $3,400.
Right, that's correct. And then with the fuel pump, that would it depends on what it takes to install that. It's going to be a couple $1,000s. There's about 17,000 there, so there'd be about 1,700. And those funds are in the capital improvement fund, according to the figures that I've got. And what we're kind of planning on doing is JR was still getting the price of a 4-inch water meter, but he thought it would be a lot higher price, so he thought it'd be better to put a 3-inch water meter. And then we really, at the time we do this, is to put in a 4-inch line and then put it all the way to the up to the central location. So then if there was ever, a 4-inch is going to be more than we need. But while we're doing it, put in the 4-inch, then we could put in a 4-inch water meter. And then if there was needed for the, village or additional hangars or whatever, we'll have the capacity. There's no sense in doing something exactly what you need right now because we are planning on expansion.
What do you have left in your budget for this year out of your 22.5? Do you know?
I do not.
I'm assuming the money's there.
Yeah. What in several years back, the auditor, they wanted the money to come out of the capital improvement fund. They didn't want it to come out of the airport, just the normal expenses. They wanted it to come out of the capital improvement fund. Unless you tell us to do something different, well, we'll do whatever you say.
Well, your budget for this year was $22,500, and again for next year.
Is that money within the general?
Yes, because they've depleted their capital projects reserve. It's at zero now.
Really?
Yep. According to this,
Well,
for 18 and 19.
something changed.
Yeah, I got zeros.
Well, I'm sure the money is in the
regular
expense. Yeah,
regular
the regular budget. Yeah. I'll get you copies of what I got within the last couple of months, and there should be a minimum of $150,000 in there yet, according to the figures I've got.
Well, in 2017, you had 72,808, and that must have been transferred somewhere, because now it's at zero.
You got zero for next year, you can't spend any anyway, if it's not budgeted.
Well, he's got budgeted, the budget's fine. He's got 22.5 in the budget.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's all he can spend if there isn't any
Right.
left in the other account.
Yeah, the others are showing zeros. I'll have to check on that, Dave.
Okay, well, there's something has changed behind the scenes, because that's not right, according to the figures I got.
I think the 22.5 is the agreement for Grace's operation thing, isn't it?
It's just listed under airport, Dave, so I'm not 100% sure what that,
Well, yeah, it goes into the airport checkbook, the
Right.
airport
operating expenses.
right, exactly.
Right.
And so that's just an annual operating.
Right.
And the
But
capital.
I guess what I'm getting at is
Okay.
$3,400 can come out of this budget.
Yes,
Okay. That was,
I'll make for sure, I'll check on that to make sure.
Asked before.
really,
I asked Richard Grace about it, and Richard Grace said he has never written a check for that 10% above what, that hasn't come out of that account.
That's right. That's just because the auditor had said that's the way they wanted to do it. But, you know, if the money isn't there, it's gotta come from somewhere. I mean, if we're, the stuff is. But I'll get you, I think it's in my other notebook, I'll get you figures that I've got from the treasurer's office.
yeah, check with the treasurer's office for sure.
Because there's something wrong there, but.
Aren't you reading this the same way I am?
The last time you was in, I think, or even, I don't know if it's the last time, you have a 5-year plan.
Right.
Or do you have some major projects coming up?
That plan has got to be revised this next month. We need to have another meeting and revise that plan because, see, this year, it was proposed to buy snow removal equipment. And then we come up to the vote and the vote said, no, we don't want to do that this year. So there is nothing in the immediate plan to make another purchase.
My feeling right now is that we're under a tax lid. And I think things down the road are gonna get really, really tight. And I don't know if we need a major project up there that's gonna take $250,000 and we gotta come up with 10%. Because we might need that money somewhere else down the road. And I think we have a really nice airport right now. And I understand maintenance. If the project is the maintenance, but if we're gonna add another runway or another taxiway,
Well,
we're gonna have to cut back somewhere
Sure.
because we're gonna need money, maybe
Sure.
in the road and bridge, or we might need money in the EMS.
Sure.
We gotta get ready for this. This tax lid's gonna grab us
Gonna
really
hurt us.
hard,
Okay,
real hard.
okay. Well,
And I'm not trying to stop the airport,
no, I understand.
you know what I mean?
Right.
But we all need to pull in.
Yeah. Well, and with the FAA, we have to have this 5-year plan, to be in this 90-10.
To keep their funds coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And what there is like, if we don't have a plan this next year, we lose $150,000 of available money, which is fine, if we're not going to use
But
it.
what if just because we don't use it, we can't get it later down the road?
No, it's gone. There's you can bank up to 3 years together, and then as the next year goes along, the third year falls off. So no, it's gone, which is okay. But we do need to stay in that 5-year airport improvement plan, because if we do that, then we need something, it's in the plan, and then the funds are available from the FAA. If we bow clear out and say, okay, we don't wanna be in the plan,
I'm not saying
we're
we want it to
done.
be in the plan, but do we have to have something planned? We just say we don't have anything planned
Okay,
for this next
no,
5
no,
years.
we need to have a plan. We've gotta have items in the plan, but we don't have to do them. See, we can vote to say, no, we don't wanna do that this year,
Okay.
and that's okay with them. We lose that money, but that's all right. We don't lose all
What I
of
guess
it.
I'm saying is I think we really need to look at saying, no, we don't need,
Sure.
we're gonna vote no.
Well, what we'll do, we'll have this meeting in this next month, and we'll make our 5-year plan to the FAA. Then we'll come to the commissioners and we'll say, here's what our plan is. Do you have money available, or do you not want to do this?
We have a resolution in place that any grants have to be approved by us.
Okay.
Before you apply for that grant.
Before it's applied for, okay? Yep, okay,
Because that way we know where our budget sits.
sure. Okay,
So
I'm glad you-
We all need to be on the same page.
you bet.
So basically, Dave, what do you need from us today?
Nothing.
Okay.
Just I had been here about this
same
airport.
issue, yeah.
Yeah, the same issue, and so we had the meeting like we were told to have,
Right.
and just
Can
want
you
to
have
let you know.
majority vote to go that
Yes.
direction?
Yep.
Okay.
I have a concern.
Okay.
In your minutes, it has that Dave Fleming reported that the Johnson property deed wasn't done, which I was advised that the county needed to own that property. And
Right.
so we did get the deed completed whereby Cheyenne County does own that property. I don't understand what wasn't done, because I was told only that Cheyenne County needed
Okay.
to own it, and I haven't heard anything further.
Okay.
This is indicating that something hasn't been done?
Oh, no, what the FAA wants is for the airport to own the property. It needs to be, and I don't know, Cheyenne County owns the airport, so I don't know, is the airport on a separate deed from any other Cheyenne County property?
Not that I know of.
It's all Cheyenne County.
It's all
Man has
Cheyenne
said
County.
that the Darrell Johnson property's in Cheyenne County.
Right.
Okay, so does it need to be designated as airport boundary
Not
or
that I know
property?
Yeah, because I read this and I was like, well, I don't know how you do that, because it's Cheyenne County. Everything else in that area is owned by Cheyenne County, from what I remember.
So.
But I was informing them, because I know that was part of the regulation that the FAA, that was in the fly zone, that they didn't want any buildings put up down there.
Right, and that's why we had to acquire the property to ensure
Right.
that there were no other structures or the possibility of structures being built. But when your notes or your minutes are indicating that it wasn't done, I was curious as to, okay, what hasn't been done?
The only thing I can think of is maybe we need to look and see how the airport was deeded from the city to the county or from the city to the airport, so that the Johnson property would be deeded the same as the airport.
It's all Cheyenne County as far as I know, but we'll take another look.
Okay,
Okay?
yep, we're good,
All right.
we're good.
All right.
Okay, thank you. You bet.
Keep us informed.
Okay, we will.
You might go to where your money is.
Morning, Dan. Sorry, we're behind already.
First off, I guess you guys probably already seen the bill, but Bird City got their truck done. And I think the Catches Fire again were done, because Anders had some problem finding parts.
Really?
Yeah.
What year is it?
80 some.
Really?
I'm not 100% sure. Then I asked for approval to go up for the forestry grant, and I got approved for the wildland coats. My problem is the guy that gave me the quote for them is no longer with the company, so now I'm trying to deal with somebody else, so. But basically what I'm saying is if I can find somebody that'll get us the coats, I'd like to go ahead and go with it. It's a matching grant, and I should have the funds in the grants already.
So you have to pay for everything and then provide proof that you did.
Correct. And we should have enough in the budget to do that.
To do it. Been pretty quiet this summer, hasn't it?
Yep.
That looks better.
Just hope it don't dry up.
Chances of moisture several days this week or coming
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. I don't see no
I
150,000.
don't either, but I like that better than zero.
There might have been because the work that's being done, some of that's come out of there.
Yeah.
All the
matching
labor
work.
until that matching funds come out of that.
Well, the
And I
materials,
think he spent it on.
yeah, the materials are already up there.
I guess that's why it showed zero if he spent it all.
See how many coats is this?
Should be close to 40, depending on how many big guys we got. Because they raise the price if you get to 3X. So
We'll have to look for skinny volunteers from now on.
Get them to climb up and down the ladders for a while.
Short and skinny, they're cheaper.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I needed a motion to go ahead with that. Or
I would say so.
I so move. Applied, we've applied for the grant.
We've
right?
applied, we've received it. Let me read. We've accepted it. Karen, the fire department's asked for a grant to provide bunker codes for their people from the Kansas, let's see that.
Forest Service.
Yeah, Kansas Forestry Service, and they received a grant for $5,440, and our share of it would be $2,720. So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Around 40, I think.
40?
Yeah. That's for Bird City and St. Francis. That's what I tried to. Then Kevin Tremblay attended that rescue class. He now wants to become part of Task Force 7, which is not a good one.
So to respond to wherever,
Correct. Them papers I had to sign earlier in the year. These papers are the ones that he needs a signature probably from you, which is probably going to include you.
this doesn't interfere with anything that he does here, correct?
Well, no, Not, I mean, the only way it would is if he would get deployed, he'd just be gone.
Right.
But that's,
But.
but I think it says we have to provide
That's
workman's
where I was
comp
just saying.
insurance.
Yes,
and
I was just reading that.
That's,
And Dan talked to me about this yesterday. I don't know if he's on this task force, is he a Cheyenne County employee doing this?
I'm gonna
Well,
ask, when do you need a response on this?
whenever we get it. I mean, I'm not gonna get in a big hurry.
Can we table it until the last meeting in September so that Scott and I can look into questions that we have so I can review that too?
So
I
this
think
is,
we're gonna have to get with K-Works and see.
Right, to see how.
yeah, because they're
that-
talking about intra and interstate missions. So he's actually going to be responding outside of the county and possibly outside of the state.
Right, I think that needs to be looked at very carefully.
Yeah.
Right.
So just for clarification, Task Force 7 is a regional team that is funded through Homeland Security. It's based in Goodland and made up of the majority of it is Goodland Fire volunteers, but it's a regional team. And then part of the money, since Homeland Security gave them the equipment and funded it, and part of the agreement is they respond within the state. They can also be tasked to go outside of the state through an EMAC. So if there's like a big hurricane or disaster where they need search and rescue teams, they can deploy that.
Yeah, and never
But he
having
would
done this,
deploy Under Cheyenne, he would deploy as a Cheyenne County firefighter, is why they're one.
and that's our concern.
I just wanted to
Not
clarify
being,
that.
I appreciate that. I do.
not being an actual employee of the county.
Correct.
That kind of, yeah, I do. I think we need to table this until Leslie can kind of sort through it. Because we want to make sure that he's covered too. I mean,
Right.
Right, since this is a volunteer organization.
right.
We need
But
to
I'd
see
hate
how
to-
that works.
I'd hate to see him get injured somewhere and then not have anything.
Right. If I can just get a copy of that, Dan, that would be great.
So you can keep, that one there is a copy, you can keep that, and that just
I'm
needs to
good
be
with this?
signed whenever we can get it
Okay,
signed.
all right, we'll get that done. Thank you.
At least I hope it's whenever. I
Huh?
mean, it's whenever now, I guess.
Well,
I figured, I told him it's probably gonna have to be reviewed by you, so.
right, well, I'd like to set deadlines.
So, I don't know, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
Thanks.
Jeff, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. Is that all right with you? Sure. You'll need to.
I'm just gonna leave everything on because I need to call Secretary of State's office. They need it, so
Okay,
I'm just, it's,
so everything's still on.
everything's still on.
Okay.
I have to go today. The sheriff's.
You were at work awful early this morning.
What's that?
You were at work awful early this morning.
I was.
Put your back in like you could, so you could get away quick.
Not yours.
Morning, Roger. Your little puppy was sitting out front this morning with his big ears. I said, Andrew, look at those ears. It was
Doesn't
so
it look-
cute.
And the head looks that long with those ears sitting
I
straight
know.
up.
I was like, oh my goodness, look at those. Because he had them all perked up. And I was just like, oh my Lord, look at those ears.
got a new dog. Its ears just stand straight up.
See, like Caroline?
Been busy down there.
More ads would be good.
I hate to be so negative up here, but we gotta slow up some spending.
Present it that way.
I don't wanna stop things, but we have some pretty nice stuff. Just take care of what we got.
No, you weren't at the budget meeting. I'll talk to Scott. I wanted some of the information tonight. You had,
Finally got it done.
does it help?
Yeah, I need glasses really bad now. I can see better out of this eye without glasses than I can with them.
Just knock the lens out.
That's a long process.
It is. I always had work in this time.
You got a girl, never gets that heart condition, I had to have EKG, chest x-rays, now not that I'm worried about it. But now I had the EKG, they think they saw something on the EKG they don't like, so I gotta go to Hayes, to the specialist, see what's going on. And I think maybe there is something going on. Once in a while, I don't feel right, but
Well, if you don't feel right, you probably need to have it taken. You're probably lucky they found it.
yeah. But I don't know what they're gonna do. They've done about all they can do, and they,
Morning, Terry. How are you? Hi, Karen.
Hello.
How are you, Jeff?
Hello, Bonnie.
Morning, Scott. Lonnie, it's Karen, Scott.
Good morning, Bonnie.
Hi, Janet. Hello, Miss Bonnie.
Morning, Karen.
And church, and Ryan.
Doing pretty good, thanks.
That's a lot of nice people, a lot of nice people, all right. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you what we're doing, we're at the bench. Okay. Okay, have a seat. Thank you.
Wasn't bad calls.
Paper's kind of busy.
So it wasn't the long calls I thought it would be.
I'm so glad that
QR
Mary's
still
writing.
on.
Yeah, she stopped by the other day. We'll chat.
Well, we call the meeting back to order. Jeff, I think we're ready for you.
All right. Well, I just want to touch on a few things that are sort of floating out there and give the monthly report. Otherwise, I don't have a lot to report on. About that tunnel resuscitation project, I'm calling it, underground. Ralph got started on it. He said he's gotten it dried out. He's got to put some support in there. He's gone this week. He said it's his first item on the task list next week. And what we haven't settled on is to repair that drain pipe, which is part of the reason why it's so wet in the tunnel. We haven't come up with a second bidder. So
But he offered,
he put in a bid for $280 to take care of that. So,
but that's up and above the bid.
yeah.
The first one we saw.
Yes, yeah. They're two separate bids.
I thought that was all one bid.
wasn't that all one bid for 900?
something?
No, I got the separate bid here for the, in fact, I got both of them here, in fact. So this is a bid to repipe the sewer line from the dishwasher to the cast iron drain in the corner. So that's a $280 bid, and then the $900 bid is to repair the tunnel underneath and support it so it doesn't cave in, and to
You only got one bid for all this, so.
so there's two separate bids there.
Right here it says fix,
And broken pipe under, yeah, that's right on there. Electric pipe.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure, because there's the dishwasher drain pipe, and there's the drain pipes from the compressors, which run on continuous water flow, and they have a drain pipe too, so I'm not really sure which is which here.
Roger, can I see that?
Which one was leaking, the drain pipe from the dishwasher or the drain pipe from the compressor?
Well, as he explained it, it was both. First, it was just from the drain pipe from the sink, the dishwasher. So I had thought it was two separate leaking places that were being addressed, but we find out for sure
Yeah,
when he's
let's
back in
do.
town.
Let's do,
Okay.
because,
Because that was put out to
yeah, to the whole, as a whole
shore it
project.
up and fix the leak. So I
Yeah.
don't think there should be another bid coming in to do anything.
Unless it's something totally different. Let's just get some clarification on it.
Okay, sure. The smaller bid came out first. It didn't involve the underground. Then they discovered the underground had an issue, so, okay. Then another problem's the Arctic Air Refrigerator, which the county purchased just a little over a year ago. It stopped working correctly, and it was like 2 weeks beyond the warranty period, so their engineers timed that just right. And we called on that, and they'll supply the replacement parts at no cost. Jared Sowers had a look at it, so he's on it. And then if you recall, the wireless nurse call system that you received a grant for, that's been installed partially this week. And they couldn't complete the job because some of the rooms that have residents now still need a call system, but some of those rooms are not going to have residents when the whole project's done. So they're kind of like half done. But they got the call system equipment installed. They have to come back when all the residents are moved around to where they're going to end up and get the final setup working. So that's good.
Yeah.
And then on the county report for July, you see where we stand there. We're still trying to mitigate our losses. And so we had in July an average census of 26.3. Our budgeted census is 26. Most of August we've had 28, and that's our capacity. And we have 9 names on the waiting list for admission. So once it's finished up and we get all the beds available, we should be running at 30, census of 30. So
When
that,
do you anticipate, what's the date for that?
I don't have a date. They don't have a date for the KDADs to come and inspect the building. They have a date for the fire marshal. I think it's September 5th. But KDAD's guy is difficult to contact. And I have not heard that they have a date yet. Maybe somebody else in the back has more information.
We're scheduled to do a walkthrough on Tuesday and do a punch list, and then the contractors will remedy all that, but it's KDED is really what we're waiting for. And we don't have a firm date on that for the long-term care thing. They're pushing hard to get that.
Okay.
When you see the Medicare, it's like we're losing $125 a day on our we have one Medicare resident. And I keep thinking, gosh, if we could find a way for the hospital PT department to supply somebody, we wouldn't be having that kind of loss.
Well, that's kind of more of an issue between the Good Samaritan and Great Plains. They had some rules and regulations in place that apparently just not going to let that happen.
Yeah, I think the holdup is that it's a critical access hospital. They can't be reimbursed for providing services off-site.
Outside, yeah.
And we can't be bringing our residents to the hospital every day.
And why not? Is there a good...
Because it ties up our social services person. She's also our transport driver. And it's 2 times a day she'd have to drive there and back. But maybe that would...
It seems like
a cheaper,
simpler, smarter solution to me.
But that'll be up to the next operator to work on. And the apartments are now fully occupied. We have 9 tenants for 9 apartments. So that number will be 9 in August. So the end of August we'll complete the 3rd quarter. So in September I'll be preparing another invoice. And the 6 mills this year is around $290,000 if I'm not mistaken. So that's I'll check with Scott for the exact figure.
So you're anticipating using the entire 6 mills?
Afraid so.
I'm not surprised, but...
It's a lot. And I'd say most of it's due to the fact our census is limited and we're still utilizing way too much agency nursing. It's mostly CNAs. We're like 5 CNAs short. I can say we've got 2 new CNAs recruited and they're just starting, so that'll help some, but still we need 3 CNAs to be where we need to be. So any comments or questions?
What's your credit and bottom line here?
Down here?
Yes.
That credit has to do with the fact that I had mistakenly not included the senior apartments in the balance, which are positive. So that 6647 was not included in that 111,062, and so that brought it the actual figure was 104,415, and then I corrected it in the March-May quarter. So that was just clarification, and the amounts for the combined 2 months would be the same in either way.
All right, Jeff.
So
yeah, we should get some clarification from Ralph on what is exactly going on over there.
You bet. Yeah.
Let us know. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Thank you. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning. Reed's out of town, so he asked me to come. I sent in my resignation as full-time, as we haven't had any communication as to where the grant or how the funding's coming, that kind of thing. So just here to see if you guys are going to allow me to do the current patients that I have on an hourly basis until, I'm assuming they fix
The
it.
hospital until the hospital can figure out where they're at?
Well, I got a phone call from Kelly and said the hospital doesn't know what they're going to do until the audit's done. So right now they have no,
And where is this audit now?
They're still working on it. I think last Friday, I contacted.
well, I know they've contacted Reed and Reed has sent information, but other than that, I don't.
I mean, they haven't even got our county audit done yet.
So,
See, we paid for it.
Part of it.
Yeah. So what
So-
you're wanting to do is continue on at a part-time basis at a per hour pay?
yes. Yep, to see the current, I haven't picked up any new referrals, and I'm just assuming it's because it's been low census at the hospital and in the clinic across the board. So I won't be picking up any new patients. It will just be the patients that I'm currently working with.
Now, how many do you have?
Around 15 that I see weekly.
But this is still being funded, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, there's still, from
Yeah.
what you guys investigated, there's still funds
Yeah.
until
There's still
December.
funds until after the first of the year.
Right.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we're good there, and I think what you're doing is terribly important, because I've had several people come to me and say nothing but
yeah, I would love to continue the job. Unfortunately, with Medicare rules and stuff, there's no sustainability, but it's definitely a need. And, home health does their part, but, there's people that are still very active in the community, but they just need some assistance at home, and they don't want to be homebound. So, which I think being homebound's very depressing, so it's important that our elderly are staying active. But, guidelines are guidelines that we have to follow, so.
I'm wondering if you would be interested in calling an executive for employer-employee negotiations?
Okay. So let's request 10 minutes. 10 minutes for employer-employee conference.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.